I had an amazing time.
I literally just got the chills thinking about all of that. It was really, really special. Hi, I'm CHRISTOL, and I live in Brooklyn, New York.
Hi, I'm CHRISTO, and I live in St. George, Utah.
CHRISTO and I met at a party in the desert called the Boneyard. It was my first time going to Vegas. I kind of went kamikaze style.
I still think you're crazy for doing that. She's wild. Yeah, she came like totally unprepared.
I was flying in the night before. We were supposed to drive out the next day. I landed in Vegas. I didn't have a hotel. I didn't have anything planned. I always assume things are going to work out for me, and they did. Luckily enough, I ended up having friends on the flight in the row in front of me, and they invited me into their hotel room at Caesar's Palace, so I had a place to stay before this festival in the desert, so that was wonderful. And then the next day, we drove out to the Boneyard, and as soon as I arrived, this handsome man came running over to me, gave me a big hug, and said, "Welcome to the Boneyard." It was like a warm embrace, and it was very memorable.
You know what? I'm gonna stop you right there. This is funny because I really didn't even know it was CHRISTOL. We got introductions. The same friends from New York City, where CHRISTOL lives, had introduced me to somebody else called Zarina, and she's a VJ or a video jockey, and I'm a DJ, so I had to get in contact with her. I had all this equipment, and so we sat on a video chat and we talked for almost an hour before the event happened. So when CHRISTOL got there, they looked so much alike. They're total doppelgangers, and I thought it was Zarina that just pulled in. So I went up and gave a warm, embracing hug, "Welcome, Zarina," but I totally forgot her name. It's a unique name. I forgot the name Zarina. So I didn't use it. I just said, "Welcome." I gave a big hug, said, "Get settled in," or whatever. And unbeknownst to me, the entire weekend, it was a 3-day event, every time I saw CHRISTOL and every time I saw Zarina, they were never together. So I thought it was the same person. So our first time meeting, our first weekend together, I had no idea CHRISTOL was a different person than Zarina.
Yeah, and strangely enough, that was really our only interaction throughout that weekend.
I did end up running most of the behind the scenes stuff until the very last night. So yeah, I didn't have enough time to really interact with everybody, and I felt so bad about that at that event.
And I don't know, so I ended up reaching out to CHRISTO after the Boneyard, even though we didn't connect, because I'd seen him dancing. He had really colorful outfits on. So I grabbed this picture of him, and it was this cute little shake. So I sent him a message. I said, "Hey, great meeting you." Sent him a picture of himself, and hope our paths cross again, or something like that.
And then it was 3 months later. I have lots of friends that I keep in contact with that live in New York City. Most of them are from the Burning Man community. So I made a trip out here. I had a few slots to DJ at nightclubs. I did a big pride ride, and that's kind of when we really connected.
Yeah, there was, New York City, there's something going on every night. So I was coming back from work, and I had already had plans to meet some other friends, and CHRISTO was saying that he was at the Williamsburg Hotel on the rooftop with some of our friends, DJs there also, and I was like, yeah, I'll come after. He's like, "Well, you should just come here.
Party.
You should come here. You should ditch your friends. You should come here." I was like, "Why did I do that?" He's like, "Well, I'm not at that party. I'm here. You should come here." I'm like, "Okay, I can do that. I'll ditch my friends."
She's such a crazy light, and I think anyone that knows her can agree, at a party, she's such an energy and fun person to have around that everyone kind of gravitates towards her on the dance floor and stuff. And I'm like, this girl totally would add to it. CHRISTOL, get your butt over here.
And I show up, and we talked the entire night away. He wasn't drinking. He brought me some champagne. We watched the sunset. We took our first picture together randomly as the sun was setting. and had an awesome night. I had to work again the next morning, so I didn't stay out. I didn't go to the after party. And I think we're planning to meet again the next night at another friend's rooftop at another DJ event, because that's what we do.
Literally, it was like, that trip was 10 days, and I think I DJ'd like 7 of those days, and we partied 9 of those days. There's so much going on all the time in New York. Not what I'm used to in the desert where I normally live, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
So then the trip ends. I mean, we end up going to, I DJ'd a bike ride. We called it the Pride Ride, and it went all through New York City. It was an amazing time. Our friend Zach and Johnny, collectively known as Zonnie, ended up hosting that. That was actually the first time I met them. They asked me to do this ride. DJ, they heard I have this mobile rig. We call the MMK, or Mobile Music Crew, where like I DJ hiking and I DJ in hot air balloons and driving cars and all sorts of stuff. I DJ while I do it. They heard that, I'm like, hey, do you want to DJ in the front of this this bike ride? I'm like, yes, absolutely. And that just happened to be at the very end of the trip. So CRISTOL kind of like fangirled out. It was fun. Like she'd always like follow me around. She's always like floating around with her cute little wig on. And so yeah, we got to hang out. What's going on? We are here in Central Park, New York City. I have Nora here with me. So everyone's just waiting for us to start this bike ride. Pretty soon, we're gonna get going. When we do, it's gonna be awesome. But for now, we wait. And then unfortunately I had to leave the next morning, right after the DJ set. I only had like a few hours of downtime to go repack my bags. And so, you know, by the time there was really starting to be a spark, it was time for me to leave. So at this point, we started talking on the phone a lot. I mean, like, we're back in high school, middle school a lot, hours a day. And we covered so much ground. I feel like we talked about everything under the sun, asked so many questions to really try to get to know each other. It was kind of a really magical time, actually.
Yeah, I know CHRISTO has a great aversion to the phone. I never really talked on the phone that much to anybody, not even my family or best friends in my whole life. I think we average like 3 hours a day on the phone, something like that.
The story goes on. We had another month apart, but we knew we had to get back together. We totally felt this crazy energy, and so she dedicated nearly 3 weeks. We just got done with a nearly 3-week trip that she made out here. It was amazing. She came and stayed with me in the chateau. That's right, I live in a motorhome. We call it the Chateau de CHRISTO. And she came and stayed with me there. We did all sorts of outdoor activities. We went to another boneyard party out at our friend Bike's Land. And then we even went out to the canceled Burning Man party called Renegade Burn, and it was incredible. I mean, I had an amazing time.
I literally just got the chills thinking about all. It was really, really special. Every minute of it.
It was.
So we had an amazing time when I was out in Utah and the Renegade burn, and I was having my last night in Vegas, and I was at the airport, and again, we're FaceTiming at the airport, and I'm literally just pacing at the airport, and you know, those mobile sidewalks, I think I circled the mobile sidewalks like 100 times, and I'm just like, why am I leaving? I wanna be with this guy. It was so hard for me to not just walk straight out the door of the airport and get in a car and go back to the chateau and continue to explore this, but again, I had a job too, and I was already away for 3 weeks, so I went back to New York.
Now being separated again, and back on the phone again, I'm crazy addicted, and it's like, it feels like it's already time to be back together. Like, it just feels so natural being together, that being apart's like becoming like a chore, really. Even though I absolutely love my situation, I love being here, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah, and just a quick throwback to our rooftop meeting as we watched the sunset and had champagne together. I think one of the first things we both said to each other was, 1, I'm not looking for a relationship, and 2, I'm not moving to where you are. Like, okay, we have a lot of hope here. This is gonna go well. Now here we are, obsessed with each other and trying to figure out how to make this work.
I think that was like, setting the ground rules. Hey, I'm gonna be really thick-headed. I'm ready to go at this alone, and I don't want to move anywhere, especially the city. I have an aversion to cities nowadays. I used to love them, and it's just like, I love nature and whimsical time out in the woods. And and she lives in the concrete jungle, New York City of all places. So, whoa. As solo guy, I decided I am going to move to Costa Rica, and I'd like to be there by my birthday, which is February 27th. I would like to live in Costa Rica a few months from now on my birthday, and kind of coming to like a conclusion that maybe I won't go alone.
Yeah, at this point, he had already said this to me. He said, I'm single now, I want to spend time alone, I'm moving away. I'm just like, what is happening? Like, I'm so obsessed with you, and you already live 2,000 miles away, and now you're going further away? Like, this is not good. So, not going it alone. Yes, I want to go too.
So Crystal's gonna come with me. In fact,
yeah!
We don't even have to wait the whole way till the end of February, because she's decided to quit her job and move to Utah to come do like a month and a half, 2 months with me in Utah before we head to Costa Rica.
We use that time to plan a little bit. I mean, neither of us are really into planning that much, but we both love travel, so I think really we're just going to be going on more adventures while I'm out there, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about this. So that's kind of it. That's me, CHRISTO. This is CRISTOL. It's been really fun kind of telling our story and kind of creating the framework. I know this is kind of like a longer first episode, just kind of establishing who we are, but now you know, and this is how we met.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you want to follow us along and see as our story evolves, please subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think, and we'd love to share this with you.
I won't fight it, can't deny it, I'm under your spell.
Yeehaw! Whoa, 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 whoa!